So what truly makes a leader, stand out in today's world? This incredibly fast-paced professional landscape. And how do our personal values, the ones we get from childhood, how do they really steer a whole career?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a really fascinating journey looking at the insights of Mr. Rizwan Atta, the president of Bank Islami. We've gone through this comprehensive four-part interview series with him.
Right.
And we've pulled out what we think are the most valuable nuggets: wisdom on leadership, ethics, the changing world of banking. And this is all for you, the curious learner. It's kind of a shortcut to getting informed about the professional world, seen through his eyes.
Exactly. And our mission isn't just to list his achievements, what he did. It's to get inside his head a bit. How did he think? What drove his big decisions? And crucially, what lessons can you take away from his experiences for your own path, whatever field you're in?
So let's start right at the beginning. Mr. Atta's formative years. It's quite compelling hearing about his family's migration, their focus on education, professional careers.
Yeah, that was different from the sort of traditional business roots back then.
It really was.
Yeah.
And it just shows how those early experiences can set you on a certain trajectory. A key thing from his academic life wasn't just being top of the class,
Right.
It was about finding a real passion for his field, for banking, and specifically wanting that meaningful human interaction with customers, with people.
That human element seems important to him.
Definitely. He keeps coming back to sincerity, strong relationships, ethical conduct. They're paramount. He shares these personal stories about respecting elders, and you see how his upbringing really built his values. So how do those deep childhood values actually turn into ethical leadership in the real world, especially with all the pressures?
Well, that's the critical link, isn't it? For him, it seems these weren't just nice ideas. They were like an internal compass. And when a leader's ethics are that solid, it lets them navigate those tricky corporate dilemmas with, consistency. It sets a clear tone for everyone, even if it means making tough calls that maybe go against the grain.
He also pushes for this holistic view of education. Prioritizing life skills, values like respect, tolerance, not just grades.
Right. Practical stuff, too.
Exactly. He even reflects on society, seeing maybe less tolerance now and how important family values and respecting teachers still are. It suggests character is just as vital as intellect.
Absolutely. And that holistic view is so insightful. It's saying, look, academics matter, sure, but emotional intelligence, empathy, a strong ethical core, the so-called soft skills, that's what really prepares you for the long haul, for influence, for navigating today's complexities.
Building resilient leaders, not just smart technicians.
Precisely. Leaders who can adapt.
Okay, so moving on. Let's look at his college time, early career, and then this huge turning point, getting into Islamic banking. His journey included co-education, studies at good institutions in England. But what's really striking is how after almost 20 years working—
Yeah, quite established already.
Right. A moment hits him, influenced by a hadith, a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, which gave him this ethical direction and a management course. And it pushes him to go back to school, to LUMS.
LUMS, the Lahore University of Management Sciences. Highly respected.
Very. And this is after nearly 2 decades. So how big a deal is that, going back for demanding studies like an MBA so late in the game? What does that tell us about a leader?
Oh, it's incredibly significant. It just screams commitment to growth and adaptability.
Doesn't it?
Many people would just coast at that point. For him, it shows this proactive mindset, realizing that even experienced pros need new knowledge, new perspectives to stay sharp. It's real intellectual curiosity, resilience too.
He talks openly about the grind, studying for the GMAT while working at Mizan Bank. He praises LUMS, the discipline, the faculty's focus on grooming students, punctuality.
And his wife's support, he mentioned that, was crucial.
Yes, absolutely. His career started in sales, then Emirates Bank in '89, worked his way up to chief manager. But the big leap was Mizan Bank in 2002. That's his entry into Islamic banking.
And that couldn't have been easy initially.
No. He describes major hurdles. Public skepticism was high.
Yeah.
Past financial scams hadn't helped. And just a general lack of awareness about what Islamic finance even was.
Trust needed building.
Totally. But he tells these great stories about winning people over, even the Sharia board, convincing them about new products, their viability, their ethical basis. And then the first Mizan branch in Faisalabad.
Ah, yes, the Faisalabad story.
It hit profitability in its first month. A real testament to the staff's hard work, he says. So what does that rapid success tell us about overcoming that deep skepticism with new financial models?
It's just critical, isn't it? It shows how tangible early wins can completely validate a new idea, especially something like Islamic banking back then, which really relies on trust. It wasn't just a win for Mizan, it signaled to the whole market. Ethical finance can work, it can be profitable, it cut through that mistrust and lack of awareness. Practical proof beats theory.
Practical proof.
Yeah.
Okay. So this journey, fueled by those early values, leads us to the core of his career. Conviction. How did this belief shape his path, and what can we learn from it about navigating banking today? He talks about those early days promoting Islamic banking at Mizan. Dedication, consistency were key. Lots of outreach, seminars in remote areas, just building that trust piece by piece.
That groundwork sounds intensive.
It does. And his view on competition is interesting, too. He acknowledged other banks. Healthy competition, sure, but he stressed Mizan's approach was collaborative.
Collaborative in banking.
Yeah, focused on growing the whole Islamic banking sector, not just beating rivals. How different is that from the usual sort of cutthroat banking world?
Oh, it's a massive difference. Usually it's all about market share, taking down the other guy. His approach suggests a bigger vision, understanding that a strong, ethical sector benefits everyone, including Mizan. By helping the whole industry grow, they cemented their place as a leader, building trust not just in their brand, but in the concept itself. That's long-term thinking.
Really strategic. And then there's this very personal story he shares.
Ah, the divestment one.
Yes. His conviction led him to divest from interest-based savings. He admits there were financial implications at first, but says it led to unforeseen blessings. It's powerful, living your values like that. But for many in finance, wouldn't that seem risky? Impractical even, especially early on.
It's a great point, and it is risky, no doubt, especially early in a career. But for Mr. Ada, it seems his conviction wasn't just blind faith, it was a guiding principle.
Right.
It shows that sometimes lining up your actions with your deepest beliefs, even if it means a short-term hit, can actually open doors you didn't expect. And crucially, it boosts your moral authority, your long-term path. It's about integrity paying off, maybe just not always immediately or obviously.
Integrity paying dividends. I like that. So we see his career evolve dynamically from that first branch to becoming president of Bank Islamic. And through it all, this theme of continuous learning, adapting to tech like AI, even stuff outside his main expertise.
Yeah, that AI point is interesting.
So with tech changing so fast, how does a leader, even at the top, genuinely keep up, not just reading about it, but practically, and get the whole organization moving with them?
That's the million-dollar question for leaders today, isn't it? For him, it seems rooted in real curiosity. It's not just knowing about AI, it's understanding what it means for banking specifically, and then creating a culture where learning and trying new things is encouraged, not feared. Leaders who do that, who champion learning from the top down, they're the ones future-proofing their companies. They help overcome that natural resistance to change you always see.
He's also quite blunt about industry challenges. Attracting and retaining talent is a big one.
Compensation issues, regulations.
Exactly. He really advocates for better pay for entry-level staff so they can have a dignified living. This feels like a wider issue in regulated fields, right? What happens when an industry struggles to get and keep that essential entry-level talent?
It's a serious vulnerability. If you can't get and keep young talent, you end up with a pipeline problem that affects innovation, customer service, future leadership, everything. And for banking, heavily regulated, it means potentially struggling to adapt to new demands because you're not integrating those fresh perspectives, those digital native skills. It really impacts long-term health.
His advice for young pros is pretty clear, though.
Yeah.
Consistency, give your best, keep investing in yourself personally and professionally, embrace change, don't resist tech.
Solid advice. Foundational stuff.
Okay, let's pivot now to the corporate sector more broadly, and Mr. Eda's insights on leadership, ethics, and where things are headed. He notes challenges in Pakistan's corporate world, the decline of multinationals, the shift from that traditional Seth culture.
Right, the family-run, less formal structures.
Towards more professional setups. What's the core difference in leadership style between that older Seth culture and the professional structures he talks about?
It's a huge shift. Seth culture often centered on one person or family's control. Decisions might be more intuitive, based on personal ties. The professional structure he favors emphasizes systems, processes, merit, distributed leadership. It's less about one personality and more about building a sustainable organization that outlasts any single leader.
Systems over personality. Makes sense. His leadership insights are gold. He stresses delegation, empowering your team for their own growth,
Crucial for development.
and leaders needing to proactively plan for succession, for continuity. Delegation sounds easy, but many leaders struggle with it. Why is effective delegation so vital?
Well, it's not just about handing off work, is it? It's fundamentally about trust and developing talent.
Oh,
For the company, it builds depth, spreads knowledge, makes you more resilient. For the employee, it's how they grow skills and advance their career. When leaders delegate well, they're not just getting tasks done, they're actively investing in your team's future and the organization's health.
investing in the team. Then there's the tough topic, white-collar crime, even at high levels.
Unfortunately, yes.
He offers this nuanced view of corruption. It's not just personal gain, it's also failing to do your duties. His advice, if you see unethical stuff, speak up respectfully. If you have to, find somewhere else to work. That broader definition of corruption, failing your duties, that's quite powerful, maybe uncomfortable. What does that imply for accountability?
It really is a challenging idea because it pushes ethical responsibility way beyond just illegal acts.
Right.
Defining corruption as failing your duties means, well, passive negligence, just coasting, not holding up your end of the bargain. That can be as damaging as outright theft. It seriously raises the bar for leaders. It demands proactive accountability, integrity in everything they do.
Wow, okay. He also gets into career progression complexities, especially for those number twos aiming for the top job. He talks about parachuters' external hires versus rankers' internal promotions. Suggests promoting from within without merit can be worse.
Interesting distinction.
And he argues that beyond a certain point, education, hard work, they aren't enough for the very top roles. You need this blend: communication, commitment, resilience. So what is the ultimate measure of readiness for those top jobs beyond the technical stuff?
It's exactly that blend he talks about. Communication, that unwavering commitment and resilience.
Okay.
Top leadership isn't just knowing stuff. It's inspiring people, handling immense pressure, staying focused when everything's uncertain. It's EQ, building consensus, the sheer grit to follow through. Those qualities, he suggests, are the real keys to unlock that highest level.
Grit and EQ. Looking ahead, his vision for banking's future, pretty clear. Transformed by mobile apps, digital platforms, fewer physical branches needed perhaps, and he predicts significant consolidation in the sector.
Seems likely, the way things are going.
He ends with his deep thought on loyalty. Starts with yourself, your family, then extends to your employer, but for the time you're employed there.
Mature take on loyalty.
And finally, his definition of real professional success. When the organization thrives or improves after you leave, how does that definition of loyalty and success challenge the usual ideas about career wins, personal wealth or titles?
It's a complete reframe, isn't it? Standard thinking often links success to your own bank account or job title. Mr. Atta flips that. He focuses on legacy and collective impact. Loyalty to self and family first, then the employer while you're there, that's realistic. And success measured by the organization flourishing after you. That means you built something enduring, something bigger than yourself. It's about contribution, institutional strength, not just personal glory.
Building something bigger than yourself. Wow, we've definitely covered a lot. Rizwan Atta's journey from those ethical roots, that conviction-driven career, all the way to his vision for leadership and banking's future. His insights really do give you a shortcut to understanding the professional world.
Absolutely. And it leaves you with a really important question to think about, doesn't it? In this increasingly digital, automated world, he predicts, what are those enduring human qualities, like the sincerity, the empathy, the ethical conduct he embodies? What role will they play? Will those be the things that truly define the most impactful leaders, the ones who leave a real legacy long after they're gone?